My name is Olivia Foster, and I'm 32 years old. 6 months ago, my own sister stood in front of our entire family, 20 people at a restaurant, and accused me of trying to seduce her husband. The room went silent. Forks stopped moving. Everyone stared at me like I was some kind of homewrecker. I lost my home that night, my reputation, and I thought I'd lost my sister forever. But here's the thing about accusations built on lies. They have a way of crumbling. Today, that same sister is begging me to take her in. She's divorced, homeless, and desperate. What she doesn't know is that I've been holding on to something our grandmother left me, something that changes everything. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Now let me tell you how this all started. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. Being single at 32 meant I had no voice in family decisions, despite paying all the house bills. When Grandma Eleanor passed 2 years ago, she left her beautiful Victorian house to both Lily and me. But somehow, when Lily got married to Mark Sullivan 6 months later, they moved in and suddenly it became their house. I was just the single sister living in the guest room of what used to be my own home. "You don't need all this space," Lily would say, spreading her wedding china across Grandma's antique dining table. "When you finally find someone, we'll figure something out." That stung. But what hurt more was how the family just accepted it. At every gathering, I was seated at the kids' table, literally, because the couples needed to sit together. My opinions on house repairs? Ignored. My request to keep Grandma's library intact? Overruled for Mark's home gym. Then Mark started getting too friendly. At first, it was small things. He'd compliment my cooking when Lily wasn't around, touch my shoulder when passing by, text me about house stuff at midnight. I kept every message, thinking I was being paranoid. "Thanks for dinner, Liv. Lily's lucky to have a sister like you," one text read at 1 a.m. "Just asking about the plumbing," he'd say if Lily noticed him on his phone. I started avoiding being alone with him. I'd leave when Lily went to work, come back only when I knew she was home. But Mark was persistent, and I was running out of excuses. The house I'd grown up in was becoming a prison, and my own sister held the key. The dismissiveness got worse every week. Lily redecorated our grandmother's bedroom without asking me, the room where I'd spent countless hours reading to Grandma during her final months. She donated Grandma's vintage dresses to Goodwill while I was at work, keeping only the jewelry for herself. "You never wear dresses anyway," she shrugged when I found out. Mark would accidentally walk into the bathroom when I was showering, claiming he didn't know I was home. He'd sit too close during movie nights, his leg pressing against mine while Lily sat oblivious on his other side. When I moved away, he'd smirk like it was some kind of game. One evening, I came home to find them hosting a dinner party in my house, and I hadn't even been told. "Oh, we thought you had plans," Lily said, not even looking up from her wineglass. "There's leftover Chinese in the fridge." I stood there in my work clothes, watching strangers eat off Grandma's china, and realized I'd become invisible in my own home. That night, I found Mark in my room, sitting on my bed, holding a photo of me from college. "You were beautiful then too," he said, not even startled by my presence. "Get out." "Relax, Liv. I was just looking for the bathroom." "It's not in here, Mark. Leave, now." He stood slowly, deliberately brushing past me. "You really need to loosen up. No wonder you're still single." When I heard Lily's footsteps on the stairs, my heart sank. She appeared in the doorway, saw Mark in my room, and her face went cold. But not at him, at me. "I need to talk to you about boundaries with Mark," I said. Her response changed everything. "Boundaries?" Lily laughed, but it was sharp, dangerous. "You're the one who needs boundaries. Mark told me how you've been acting around him, flirting, making him uncomfortable." My stomach dropped. "That's not—" "Several of our cousins work at your architecture firm, Olivia. One word from me about your inappropriate behavior, and how do you think that'll go?" I realized then what I stood to lose. My reputation at Foster and Associates, where I'd just made senior architect. The Victorian house that held every Christmas morning, Every birthday, every last conversation with Grandma. My relationship with our extended family, who already saw me as the difficult sister for being career-focused and single. The next day, Mom called. "Your sister is worried about you. She thinks you might be lonely enough to do something regrettable." "Mom, that's not what's happening. Honey, I know being single at your age is hard, but Mark is Lily's husband. You need to respect that." Even my own mother had been turned against me. At work, I noticed whispers stopping when I walked by. My cousin Janet, who worked in accounting, avoided eye contact in the elevator. The narrative was being written without me, and I was cast as the desperate spinster trying to steal her sister's man. That evening, I found Lily crying to Aunt Patricia on speakerphone. "I don't feel safe in my own home," she sobbed. "Mark says Olivia makes him so uncomfortable, he doesn't want to be here when I'm not around." The lies were spreading like wildfire. My professional reputation, my family relationships, my home, everything was on the line. And Lily knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't about Mark's behavior. This was about the house. It had always been about the house. The pressure intensified when Mark made his move. He cornered me in the kitchen one morning, sliding a check across the counter. 50,000, he said. "For your half of the house. More than fair, considering." "Considering what?" "Considering you'll need to relocate anyway, for everyone's comfort." I pushed the check back. "This house is worth 4 times that." "Not with your reputation." His smile was cold. "Who's going to believe you? The single, desperate sister who tried to break up a marriage?" That afternoon, Lily escalated. She called our cousins, our aunts, even Grandma's elderly sister in Florida. Each conversation painted me darker. By evening, I'd received 6 texts from family members suggesting I get help or take some time away. At work, my biggest client, who happened to be married to Mom's best friend, requested a different architect for their project. Just to avoid any awkwardness, they said. I was being systematically destroyed. But that night, while looking for my birth certificate to open a new bank account, preparing for the inevitable, I found something in Grandma's room that changed everything. Hidden in her jewelry box, behind the fake bottom I'd helped her install years ago, was a USB drive labeled, "For Olivia, when you need it." I didn't watch it yet. Something told me to wait, to let Lily and Mark think they'd won. But I called David Thompson, my friend from law school who'd become a successful estate attorney. "David, I need you to check something. Did my grandmother file any additional documents before she passed?" His response made my hands shake. "Actually, yes. A new will, properly notarized and witnessed. But Olivia, why don't you already know about this?" I was starting to piece together Grandma's final chess move. I confronted Lily that night while Mark was at his weekly poker game. She was sorting through Grandma's china, marking pieces with sticky notes, probably deciding what to sell. "We need to talk about Mark's behavior." She didn't even look up. "You're jealous of my happiness. He texts me at midnight. He comes into my room." "You're pathetic." She finally met my eyes. "Do you know how embarrassing it is? Having a sister who throws herself at any man who shows her kindness. Control your husband, Lily. Maybe if you had one, you'd understand boundaries." "I understand that your husband is—" The front door opened. Mark walked in, supposedly from poker, but I could smell perfume. Not Lily's brand. "What's going on here?" He moved to Lily's side immediately. "Olivia's making more accusations," Lily said, her voice trembling perfectly. Mark's face hardened. "She knows about the texts, Olivia. I told her you've been reaching out to me, begging me to meet you alone. It's sick." I stared at him. "You told her I've been texting you?" I showed her everything. He pulled out his phone and there they were, messages from my number I'd never sent. "Please meet me tonight. Lily doesn't have to know. I need you." My hands went cold. They'd planned this, every detail. "Those aren't real." "Stop." Lily stood up. "Just stop. I can't do this anymore. I want you out." "This is my house too." "Not for long." Mark wrapped his arm around Lily. We're calling a family meeting. Next week. The whole family needs to know what kind of person you really are. Lily smiled then, and it was nothing like the sister who used to braid my hair. 7 days, Olivia. Find somewhere else, or I'll tell everyone the truth about you. The week that followed was torture. Lily made her preparations like a general planning an invasion. I heard her on the phone with relatives, her voice dripping with false concern. I didn't want to burden everyone, but it's gotten so bad. Yes, the family dinner on Saturday. We need witnesses. We need support. She posted on social media about difficult family situations and protecting your marriage, garnering sympathy from friends who didn't know the real story. Mark played the wounded husband perfectly, telling his golf buddies about his uncomfortable home situation. I spent those 7 days differently. I visited David's office, where he showed me the new will, dated just 1 month before Grandma died. The house is yours, Olivia, completely. Lily gets a monetary inheritance, but the house? That's all you. Why didn't anyone tell me? Your grandmother specified it should only be revealed if necessary. She wrote a letter explaining why. Want to read it? I shook my head. Not yet. Is there anything else? David smiled. Check your grandmother's safety deposit box. She left something specifically for this situation. At the bank, I found the USB drive contained a video. Grandma, frail but sharp-eyed, speaking directly to the camera. I watched 30 seconds, enough to know this would change everything, then stopped. The timing had to be perfect. The night before the family dinner, Lily made one last play. She moved my belongings to the garage while I was at work. When I came home, she was repainting my room. Just getting it ready for a nursery, she said sweetly. Mark and I are trying for a baby. You understand, don't you? A real family needs this space. There's a family dinner next week. We'll discuss this properly then, I said, echoing Mark's words from days earlier. Lily's smile faltered slightly. She hadn't expected me to be calm. The morning of the family dinner, I prepared like a lawyer heading to trial. Every document organized, copied, and secured. David would arrive separately, briefcase in hand, ready to authenticate everything when the moment came. I'd discovered more than just the will. In Grandma's safety deposit box were receipts, proof she'd paid for the house renovations Lily claimed were theirs, bank statements showing I'd covered utilities and property taxes for 2 years. Even a handwritten note from Grandma. Olivia, your sister's greed will be her downfall. Be patient. Be smart. The truth always wins. That afternoon, I received an unexpected text from an unknown number. Check his Instagram. Sarah from accounting. Sarah Chen from Mark's company. Her Instagram told a story. Photos at conferences where Mark appeared in the background, weekend team-building trips, and one particularly damning image. Mark's reflection in her wine glass at a restaurant dated last week when he was supposedly at poker. I screenshot everything, not for revenge, but for protection. Then I noticed something else. The perfume I'd smelled on Mark? Sarah had posted about her new signature scent just days ago. The same brand was visible in her car selfie from yesterday. David called with one final piece of information. The will has an interesting clause. If Lily contests it or tries to force you out before it's revealed, she forfeits her monetary inheritance too. Grandma thought of everything. She knew her granddaughters well. Oh, and Olivia? I'll have the video ready to play on my tablet. The restaurant has a screen in the private dining room. I put on my best dress, the one Grandma bought me for my college graduation. If I was going to be put on trial, I'd look like the professional I was, not the desperate spinster they'd painted me to be. If you've ever been falsely accused by family, you know how isolating it feels. Nobody wants to take sides, everyone just wants peace. But sometimes, peace comes at the cost of truth. Before I continue with what happened at that family dinner, I want to ask, have you ever had to choose between keeping family harmony and standing up for yourself? Let me know in the comments. And if you're finding value in my story, please hit that like button. It really helps me know I'm not alone in this. The day before the dinner, memories of Grandma kept surfacing. 6 months before she died, she'd pulled me aside during Sunday lunch. Olivia, I've taken care of everything. When the time comes, you'll understand. I'd thought she meant funeral arrangements. Now, sitting in my car outside the restaurant, I understood she'd seen this coming. She knew Lily's nature, the jealousy that masqueraded as superiority, the greed dressed up as entitlement. The USB drive was in my purse, David had the authenticated will in his briefcase, and I had 6 months of Mark's inappropriate texts backed up to the cloud. But I wouldn't use them unless necessary. This wasn't about destroying Lily, it was about truth. My phone buzzed, another unknown number. Mark's with me right now. He doesn't know I'm texting you. S. Sarah. She was with him hours before the family dinner where he'd play the victimized husband. I screenshot that too. David texted, "Your grandmother was smarter than anyone knew. The will isn't just about the house. There's a condition about Lily's behavior. If she's proven to have lied about you or tried to force you out, she loses everything, even her cash inheritance. Why would Grandma do that? There's a letter explaining. Want me to read it at dinner? Just wait for the right moment." I thought about Lily and me as children, sharing a bedroom, whispering secrets after lights out. When did my little sister become someone who would destroy me for a house? Walking into the Golden Palace restaurant, I saw our family through the windows. 20 people about to witness either my humiliation or my vindication. Aunt Patricia was already there, sitting next to Mom. Cousins, uncles, even Grandma's sister had flown in from Florida. They'd all come to watch me fall. They had no idea what was really about to happen. Before entering the restaurant, I needed one more piece of evidence. I called Sarah Chen. "You don't know me, but—" "I know who you are," she interrupted. "Mark talks about you. A lot. It's weird how obsessed he is with you." "Obsessed?" "He shows me your photos. Says you're pathetic, but he can't stop talking about you. How you dress, what you cook, how you smell. It's creepy. That's not why I'm with him, though." "Then why?" "He promised to leave his wife. Been promising for 6 months, but today he said after tonight he'll be free to do whatever he wants. That you're being handled." My blood ran cold. "Sarah, he's using you." "I know. Found out he's been seeing someone else, too. Rebecca from legal. I'm done with him. Want some ammunition?" "What kind?" Screenshots of him bad-mouthing his wife, calling her stupid, saying she's frigid, that he only married her for her inheritance. Also, he's been looking up the value of your house, has a realtor ready to list it. Send me everything. Within minutes, my phone flooded with evidence. Mark hadn't just been unfaithful, he'd been planning this takeover for months. One text to Sarah stood out. "Once we get the sister out, I'll convince Lily to sell. She's too dumb to realize the house is worth a fortune. Then I'll divorce her, and we can be together." Sarah sent one more thing. A voice recording of Mark from that morning. "After tonight, Olivia will be destroyed. The whole family will think she's a homewrecker. Lily believes everything I tell her. It's almost too easy." I forwarded everything to David with one instruction. "If things go badly, play this." Walking through those restaurant doors, I felt Grandma's presence beside me. The truth was about to set us all free. The Golden Palace's private dining room fell silent when I entered. 20 pairs of eyes tracked my movement to the only empty seat, at the far end of the table, quarantined like a disease. Lily sat at the head, Mark beside her, playing the devoted husband. She wore Grandma's pearl necklace, the one meant for me on my wedding day. The message was clear. I'd never need it. "So glad you could make it," Lily said, her voice dripping false sweetness. "We were worried you might not show." Aunt Patricia shifted uncomfortably. Mom wouldn't meet my eyes. My cousins whispered behind their hands. The judgment was palpable, pressing down like humid air before a storm. I sat down, back straight, hands folded. Professional, calm, everything they didn't expect. Before we order, Aunt Patricia said, I think we need to address the elephant in the room, the house situation. Yes, Lily jumped in quickly. It's become unbearable. I don't feel safe in my own home. Mark reached for her hand. My wife shouldn't have to live in fear. Fear? I almost laughed, but I stayed silent, letting them dig their grave deeper. Uncle Robert, our family patriarch since Grandpa died, cleared his throat. Olivia, these are serious accusations. What do you have to say? Every face turned to me, waiting, some hoping for drama, others for quick capitulation. I saw David enter quietly, taking a seat near the door. He gave me the smallest nod. I said slowly, we should hear exactly what Lily's accusing me of. In detail, in front of everyone. Lily's eyes glinted. She thought I was walking into her trap. If that's what you want. She stood up, hands trembling for effect. The performance of her life was about to begin, and she had no idea it would also be her last. Lily pulled out her phone with shaking hands. I never thought my own sister would try to destroy my marriage. Her voice broke perfectly on cue. These are texts Olivia sent my husband. She connected to the restaurant's screen, displaying the fabricated messages for everyone to see. Please meet me tonight. I dream about you. Lily doesn't deserve you. Gasps rippled through the room. Aunt Patricia covered her mouth. Mom's face went pale. And there's more. Mark stood, playing his part. She comes into our bedroom when Lily's at work, leaves notes under my pillow. I've tried to be kind, understanding she's lonely, but it's become harassment. That's enough, Uncle Robert said. But Lily wasn't done. She walks around the house half-dressed when Mark's home. She accidentally touches him every chance she gets. Last week, I found her in our bed, claiming she was looking for something. The lies stacked up like kindling, each more outrageous than the last. My cousin Janet was recording on her phone. Others looked at me with such disgust I wanted to scream. But I stayed silent, calm, waiting. I think it's best if Olivia moves out immediately, Lily concluded, tears streaming down her face, for everyone's safety and peace of mind. The room erupted, voices overlapped, some defending me half-heartedly, most supporting Lily. This was her moment of triumph. She'd won, or so she thought. I stood slowly. The room quieted. Are you finished? I asked. There's nothing more to say, Lily sniffled. The evidence speaks for itself. It does, I agreed. But first, ask Mark about Sarah. Mark's face went white. Not pale, white like paper, like death, like truth finally catching up. I don't know what you're... Sarah Chen, from accounting, or would you prefer we discuss Rebecca from legal? Don't try to deflect, Lily snapped, but I saw the flicker of doubt in her eyes. This isn't about Mark's colleagues. You're right, it's about the truth. I pulled out my phone. Mark, would you like to explain this text you sent Sarah this morning? I read it aloud. After tonight, Olivia will be destroyed. Lily believes everything I tell her. It's almost too easy. That's fake, Mark slammed his hand on the table. She's making things up. Am I? I turned to the screen. Should I show everyone your Instagram activity, or the hotel receipt from last Tuesday when you were supposedly at poker? The room buzzed with confusion. Lily grabbed Mark's arm. Don't let her manipulate you. She's desperate. Mom finally spoke. Olivia, even if Mark... That doesn't excuse what you've done. The family rallied around Lily again. My evidence of Mark's cheating only made me look more guilty, like I was trying to break them up. She's clearly obsessed, Aunt Patricia said. Now she's stalking his social media? This is sick, someone muttered. I felt the walls closing in. Even with proof of Mark's infidelity, they'd twisted it to support their narrative. The desperate spinster trying to destroy her sister's marriage. Uncle Robert stood. I think we've heard enough. Olivia, for the sake of family peace, you need to move out. Tonight. I agree, Mom said quietly, and that betrayal cut deepest. I looked around the table at faces I'd known my whole life. Not one person defended me. Not one questioned Lily's story. I'll move out by month's end, I said. Lily smiled triumphantly. Tonight. Month's end, I repeated. But first, ask Mark about Sarah. The truth always finds its way out. Always. 6 months later, everything had changed. I'd moved into a nice apartment downtown, using the money I'd saved for house repairs. Lily and Mark had lasted exactly 3 more months before Sarah Chen showed up at their door, pregnant and demanding answers. The divorce was ugly. Mark had been cheating with 4 different women, all of whom came forward when Sarah posted the evidence online. Lily lost the house in the settlement. Mark's lawyer argued she'd inherited it jointly, making it marital property. Without the real will revealed, she couldn't prove otherwise. Now, at 2 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday, my phone rang. Lily. Olivia? Her voice was broken, real this time. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. What do you want, Lily? I have nowhere to go. The divorce took everything. Mark convinced me to put his name on the house deed. I was so stupid, so blind. I listened to her sob, genuine tears this time. Can I stay with you? Just for a while? I know I don't deserve it, but you're my sister. The family dinner is this Sunday, I said. We'll discuss it there. What? Why would... Same restaurant, same room, everyone will be there. She was quiet for a moment. You're going to humiliate me. No, Lily, I'm going to tell the truth. I hung up and texted David. It's time. Then I opened Grandma's letter, the one I'd saved for this moment. My dearest Olivia, if you're reading this, Lily has shown her true colors. The house was always meant for you. You loved it, not for its value but for its memories. Lily only sees dollar signs. The truth will set you free, my dear. Use it wisely. Karma works in interesting ways. She called me crying at 2 a.m., not knowing the best part was yet to come. Sunday arrived gray and drizzling, fitting for a reckoning. The same private room, the same 20 faces, but the energy was different. Lily sat where I'd been banished 6 months ago, at the far end alone. She looked smaller somehow. Designer clothes replaced with department store basics. The confidence that came from Mark's money and manipulation had evaporated. She'd apologized publicly on social media, admitted she'd been wrong about me, but the family remained cold. Being wrong was one thing, being cruel was another. Thank you all for coming, I began, standing where Lily had stood to destroy me. I know these past months have been difficult for everyone. Olivia, Lily interrupted, tears already flowing. Please, I know I was horrible. Mark manipulated me. He made me believe... Let her speak, Uncle Robert said sharply. He'd apologized to me privately, ashamed of his rush to judgment. Lily stood, wobbly. I'm sorry. To everyone, but especially to Olivia. I accused her of something terrible. I was wrong. I was jealous and stupid, and I let Mark poison me against my own sister. She turned to me. Please, I need your help. I have nothing, nowhere to go. The room waited for my response. Mom reached for my hand under the table, her way of asking for mercy. Before I answer, I said, pulling out an envelope, there's something you all need to know. David stood up from his seat by the door, briefcase in hand. I'm David Thompson, estate attorney for Eleanor Foster. Lily's face went pale. What's happening? Grandma left something for this exact situation, I said, my voice steady. The screen flickered to life behind me. There was Grandma, frail but fierce, about to change everything once more. Grandma's voice filled the room, clear despite her age. If you're watching this, then Lily has done exactly what I feared she would. Lily sank into her chair. No, no, no. I'm leaving the house entirely to Olivia, Grandma continued. Not because I love her more, but because I know Lily's nature. She's always been driven by greed and jealousy. Even as a child, she'd rather break Olivia's toys than share. David opened his briefcase. This will was properly notarized 1 month before Mrs. Foster's passing. The house belongs solely to Olivia Foster. But there's a condition, Grandma's video continued. Olivia, you must offer Lily shelter if she ever truly needs it, but only if she's shown genuine remorse and treated you with respect. If she's tried to force you out or harm you, she forfeits even this mercy." The room erupted. Aunt Patricia gasped. "You mean Olivia owned the house all along?" "Every accusation, every lie, every moment of humiliation," I said quietly. "I could have stopped it by revealing this will. But Grandma was right. Lily needed to show her true self." "The original will," David added, "which Lily knew about, left her $200,000 cash. But there's a clause. If she attempted to force Olivia from the house through deception or manipulation, she forfeits everything." Lily was sobbing now, not the practiced tears from 6 months ago, but raw, ugly crying. "You knew? This whole time you knew?" Grandma said, "Olivia has always been the responsible one. The house is hers alone." I quoted the letter. "She saw through you, Lily. She always did." Mark had been right about one thing. Lily had been too easy to fool, but he never imagined she was being fooled by everyone, including the grandmother she'd thought she'd outsmarted. This moment, watching the truth finally come out, was both satisfying and heartbreaking. Family shouldn't come to this. But sometimes, protecting yourself means revealing hard truths. If you've made it this far, you understand that family dynamics can be complicated. What would you have done in my position? Would you have revealed the will immediately or waited like I did? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more stories about standing up for yourself with grace. The silence stretched until I broke it. 30 days, Lily. You have 30 days to find alternative housing. Olivia, please. That's more generous than the week you gave me, more time than you allowed me when you threw my belongings in the garage. But I'm your sister. Yes, which is why you're getting 30 days instead of tonight. I kept my voice level, professional. I'll help you find an apartment. I'll even cover your security deposit, but you will never live in Grandma's house again. Lily stood up, desperate. "I have nothing. Mark took everything. I lost my job because of the stress. Please." "You had everything," I replied. "A sister who loved you, a grandmother who provided for you, a house to share. You threw it all away for greed." "This is cruel," she whispered. "No, cruel was fabricating evidence to destroy my reputation. Cruel was turning our mother against me. Cruel was trying to steal my inheritance while smiling in my face." Mom spoke up. "Olivia, she's learned her lesson. Can't you forgive?" "I do forgive her, Mom. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean enabling. Lily needs to face the consequences of her choices." Uncle Robert nodded. "The girl's right. Lily made her bed." 30 days, I repeated. "I'll have movers help you pack. But understand this, Lily. You're not entitled to my help. This is mercy, not obligation." David handed her a formal notice. "This is legal documentation of the 30-day period. After that, any attempt to enter the property will be considered trespassing." Lily took the paper with shaking hands. For the first time in her life, she was facing real consequences. No one to manipulate, no one to blame, just the truth, cold and undeniable. The family's reaction was immediate and telling. Aunt Patricia reached across the table to squeeze my hand. "Olivia, I'm so sorry. We should have believed you." "We were all fooled," Uncle Robert admitted. "Lily put on quite a show." Mom was crying quietly. "I failed you, my own daughter, and I chose to believe lies over your character." "You believed what you were shown," I said gently. "Lily and Mark were very convincing." "Still," Mom pulled me into a fierce hug. "I should have known. You've never lied to me, never been cruel. I let my fear of family conflict blind me to the truth." One by one, family members approached to apologize. Janet from accounting admitted. Several of us suspected something was off. Mark was too smooth, too prepared, but we were cowards. "Why didn't you say anything?" I asked. "Because Lily was so convincing, and it was easier to believe you were desperate than to believe she could be that cruel." Meanwhile, Lily sat alone, abandoned even by those who'd supported her before. The same people who'd recorded my humiliation now avoided her eyes. Mark had already been excommunicated from family events, but Lily's betrayal cut deeper. She was blood, and she'd chosen greed over family. "Can I at least visit Grandma's grave?" Lily asked suddenly. "To apologize?" "The cemetery is public," I said. "But know that she saw this coming. She tried to protect both of us, me from your greed, and you from yourself." "I forgive, but I don't forget," I added, looking directly at her. "Trust, once broken, needs time to rebuild. Maybe someday we can be sisters again. But that day isn't today." The family nodded in agreement. Boundaries weren't cruel, they were necessary. The 30 days passed quickly. Lily found a small studio apartment across town, a far cry from Grandma's Victorian, but clean and safe. I kept my word about the security deposit and first month's rent, transferring the money directly to the landlord. "Thank you," she texted. Nothing more. The consequences rippled outward. Without Mark's connections, Lily struggled to find work in her field. The divorce had revealed her role in trying to force me out, making her toxic to employers who valued integrity. She eventually found a position at a call center, honest work, but humbling for someone who'd lorded her marketing director title over me. 3 months after the revelation, she sent a longer message. "I'm seeing a therapist. She says I have narcissistic tendencies learned from watching Mark. I'm working on it. I know you don't owe me anything, but I wanted you to know." I helped her find a better job through a contact who didn't know our history, not out of obligation, but because Grandma would have wanted me to show mercy once Lily showed genuine change. The position paid less than her old job, but offered stability and a chance to rebuild. "Why are you helping me?" she asked when I sent her the job listing. "Because you're still my sister. But understand this. I'll always be your sister, but I'll never be your safety net again." She nodded, finally understanding the difference between love and enabling. Mom told me Lily had started volunteering at a women's shelter, working with others who'd lost everything in divorces. "She tells them about what she did to you," Mom said, uses it as a cautionary tale about greed and jealousy. Perhaps she was learning. Or perhaps she was performing again. Time would tell, but I wouldn't be close enough to find out. With Lily gone, I finally made Grandma's house truly mine. The room Lily had started painting for a nursery became my home office. Mark's gym equipment was donated, and Grandma's library was restored. Every corner reflected the peace I'd fought to earn. Work flourished once the truth came out. The clients who distanced themselves returned, apologizing for believing gossip. I was promoted to partner at Foster and Associates, a position I'd earned, but might have been denied if Lily's lies had stuck. Family gatherings became peaceful again. Without the toxic dynamic of Lily and Mark's manipulation, we remembered why we loved spending time together. Sunday dinners returned to Grandma's house, my house, with the kitchen full of laughter instead of tension. "You've changed," Mom observed one evening, helping me dry dishes. "You're stronger." I always was strong, I just stopped letting people convince me otherwise. David Thompson became a regular dinner guest, and eventually, something more. "I admired how you handled everything," he admitted. "Patient, strategic, but never cruel." "Grandma taught me well," I replied. 6 months after everything settled, an envelope arrived addressed in Lily's handwriting. Inside was a wedding invitation. She'd met someone new, a teacher who knew her history, and chose to love her anyway. The note attached said, "I don't expect you to come, but I wanted you to know I'm trying to do better this time." I sent a gift, but didn't attend. Some distances are necessary for healing. The house felt different now, lighter, warmer, more like when Grandma was alive. Her portrait smiled down from above the fireplace, and sometimes I could swear she was proud. Sometimes the best revenge is simply living well, surrounded by people who respect you, and boundaries that protect you. Looking back now, a year after that second family dinner, I understand what Grandma tried to teach me. Boundaries aren't walls built from hatred, they're fences built from wisdom. They say, "I love you, but I love myself too." Lily sends Christmas cards now. Brief updates about her life, always ending with, "I understand if you don't respond." I send cards back, equally brief, equally distant. She's remarried, seems happy, and claims she's different. Maybe she is. But trust, once shattered, can never be fully restored, only rebuilt into something different, more cautious, more aware. The house stands as a testament to Grandma's wisdom. She knew that leaving it to both of us would have destroyed our relationship completely. By giving it to me alone, with conditions for mercy, she forced Lily to face her true nature while protecting me from it. Even in death, she was still parenting us, still teaching us who we really were. I've learned that family isn't about blood, it's about respect. The cousins who stood by Lily when she lied were cordial but not close. The aunt who immediately believed the worst of me? She's invited to gatherings but no longer trusted with secrets. Meanwhile, David's family has embraced me completely, showing me what unconditional support actually looks like. People ask if I regret waiting 6 months to reveal the truth. No. If I'd shown the will immediately, Lily would have played victim differently, claimed I'd manipulated Grandma, contested the will, dragged us through court. By letting her think she'd won, she revealed her true character to everyone. The family needed to see what she was capable of, and she needed to face real consequences. Setting boundaries doesn't make you cruel. Protecting yourself doesn't make you selfish. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for someone is let them face the results of their choices. The Victorian house is filled with new memories now. Dinner parties where everyone's welcome, but drama isn't. Holiday gatherings where love is unconditional, but respect is required. Quiet mornings in Grandma's garden where I remember her words. The truth always finds its way out, dear. Our job is just to be patient enough to let it. Family isn't about blood, it's about respect. What boundaries have you had to set with your family? How do you balance love with self-protection? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes knowing we're not alone in these struggles makes all the difference. Remember, you deserve respect, especially from those who claim to love you. Never let anyone, not even family, convince you otherwise. Thank you for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but if it helps even one person stand up for themselves, it's worth it. Setting boundaries with family is one of the hardest things we can do, but sometimes it's necessary for our own well-being. If my story resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Share your own experiences in the comments. How do you maintain boundaries with difficult family members? And remember, you deserve respect, especially from those who claim to love you. Until next time, take care of yourselves.